Yo, what's up, man? How we feeling today? It's Nate here bringing you another amazing and insightful plumbing video. And as always, we're here to talk about plumbing. We're here to talk about hustling, making money. How are we creating passive income streams? What are we doing to better ourselves, right? And create an everlasting adventure that we can be proud of. In this video, what I'm going to be talking about is one of the greatest side hustles anybody could get started with in the world of plumbing. And this is something that requires very little knowledge of plumbing, low skill level, not a lot of money, not a lot of time, and not a lot of effort. It almost sounds too good to be true, right? And it almost is, because one of the greatest things about it right now is there's not a lot of people that are doing this or even aware of it, which is why I'm bringing this to you, because I know I myself, I can't be the only one out here doing this. This is a great opportunity for so many of y'all to get out there and start hustling and making some real money. So what is this side hustle that I'm talking about? My friend, I'm talking about drain cleaning. Yes, nitty gritty, get down and dirty drain cleaning. Let's make the real money. Let's build up a business off of the easiest, most valuable thing that you could do in this world. Well, at least the world of plumbing, right? I'm sure there's other things out there, but if you're sitting here watching my channel, it's definitely because you got to be interested in construction. You know, you're willing to jump into plumbing. You want to do something different. You know, you're like me. You're not the type that wants to sit at home in front of a computer doing whatever type of bullshit your job has you doing. This is something that's completely different. That's going to get you out in the real world, meeting cool people, having dope ass experiences. And it's going to allow you to really see what you're about and build something up and create something for yourself that you and your family will benefit from forever. So think about this. Drain cleaning, it's so simple. Think about the millions of homes that are out there in the world, right? Every single one of them, they all got showers, they got bathtubs, bathroom sinks, kitchen sinks, floor drains. They're all going to have sewers where your sister's flushing her tampons down and mama's dumping all the grease down the drain and you're cutting all your hair off and it's going down the bathtub drain. Well, at some point you're going to wake up and these things are not going to be running properly and you're going to be sitting there bathing in a whole foot of water. And you're like, well, what the? Now I got to call somebody and get them out here and I got to spend a couple $100 just to have them pull my little pubic hair out the drain. It's no bueno. Why don't you be the one doing it? I know it doesn't sound that glorious, but I'll tell you, when you get those first couple checks from doing that, I'm like, okay, I can keep doing this. And if it's that nasty to you, this is where you get your buddies involved or you hire somebody and you put them in the vehicle and have them doing it for you. You know what I mean? You can very easily build it up to that point. So there's a lot of ways that you can go about this. And there's different tools out there that are all made for different jobs. And some of them are the same, but it all comes down to what you're willing to invest. I know for me, I started off on the small route. I started with just the bathtubs and bathroom sinks because they're the smallest drains and they require the smaller equipment to get started with. What I used was called, or what is called, a drill snake. I still have mine. I bought it about 6 years ago, and this thing is still running like a champ for me. Every time I'm doing a bathtub or a lav sink in a house, $195, boom, 45 minutes in and out. That's cleaning up and wiping down, getting the actual job done. And it's quick, easy money. And you're providing a service that so many people need. So I'm going to break this down for you. So I said the type of equipment you're going to need for this small one is what's called a drill snake. And I'm going to try to post something here on the video so you can see what it looks like. You know what you're trying to get. There's a lot of places where you can buy this from. I mean, Home Depot, Lowe's, they all sell these things. Same with any supply house or any major one. So like I'll buy me, our major brands are Ferguson, Famous Supply, and Active Plumbing Supply. They all have websites. I'll post them up here in the links. They will sell you this equipment as well too. The Home Depot, Lowe's ones, you might spend a couple $100. The supply house ones, which are a lot better, and in my opinion, if you're going to do this on a regular basis, buy better equipment. If you invest in the better stuff off the rip, you're going to have a lot less trouble in the beginning of this. And I'll tell you some stories that I had. Because if you don't do this the right way, it will be difficult for you. So obviously, like anything, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to go about this. I would advise, if you have the money, spend it on better equipment, okay? And you can learn how to do all this on your own. It's not difficult stuff, right? So do not be intimidated by this at all. It's so freaking easy, it doesn't make any sense as to why more people are not doing this. But there goes to what I always talk about, where everybody just keeps pushing college. We don't even talk about getting into the trades, so nobody even knows about this. But Susie and her husband are down the street, kitchen sink's not draining. Somebody's got to clean it out for them, right? Why not be you? Make that money. So like I said, I started with a drill snake, and I was hitting bathtubs and lab sinks. $195 a pop. Boom, 45 minutes in and out. Simple equipment. You're going to spend anywhere from a couple $100 to $500 on this. Well, Nate, how do people even know that I'm getting started in this business? How do they know to call me for drain cleaning? This is the easy part, right? Almost everybody I know, we all got Facebooks, we got Instagrams. Some of you probably even have TikToks, right? Which even that's a whole nother realm you can get into, making these drain cleaning videos. But on Facebook, you need to blast it. Let all your friends, your family, everybody know that this is what you're doing. Because I guarantee you, out of all the friends and family that you have on your Facebook, somebody needs this service done, right? The other thing you can do is, like I use a website called Thumbtack, or Home Advisor, if you've heard of that one. Thumbtack, in my opinion, is my favorite. I've had much better experience with the leads. This is one, though, where you actually have to pay to get a lead. So, like, you set yourself up on the site, you say what you do, and you pick and choose what type of services you offer. Like, I have water heaters on mine, drain cleaning, garbage disposals, a couple other random things that I get selectively advertised to. So I have to spend, it's usually like maybe 12 to 15 bucks or so per lead that comes in. But here's the great thing about it. And even so Facebook is free. You can post on there, obviously. That would be the best way to generate these leads. And it's foot in the door method type stuff too. $195 is good for that first drain. But think about, you go to a house that has multiple bathrooms or multiple blockages, and you do a couple of those, and you're getting done in a couple hours. I mean, you're talking $300, $400, $500. I've had somewhere they've spent $1,000 with me in less than a day of drain cleaning. Just good, big house, a lot of bathrooms. They got a lot of slow stuff. People will even have you preventatively clean these things out when there's not even an issue. So those are by far the easiest ones. So I started off with the small ones with a nice drill snake. So what's next? Well, you get into the kitchen sinks and the floor drains. Kitchen sinks are a constant issue for these people, but it requires bigger equipment. You could, in theory, go in with the drill snake that I'm talking about, but if you really want to get this job done right, you're going to want bigger and better equipment. This stuff you can still buy from Lowe's, Home Depot, but in my personal opinion, build the money up from the small drain cleaning. Set aside yourself a fund, of at least $1,000 to $2,000, and get yourself a good Spartan. We call it's like the Spartan 100 machine. I'll see if I can post something up on here for you. By far the best machine to get for cleaning out kitchen sinks and drains, floor drains, because these are a little bit bigger drains. You need the heavier equipment, but you get to charge more because you're paying more for the equipment. You now get to offload that cost. So for me, I started I think I'm at $295 now to do a kitchen sink. Same with the floor drain. I'm about $295 for that as well too. And it's still about the same amount of time. I'm doing this in 45 minutes. And if anything, I got to spend a little bit of time cleaning it out, but whatever. So when you have this equipment, it just compounds on itself too, because somebody's calling you, let's say, Karen, she's got her bathroom sink isn't drained, so she calls up Billy Bob's drain cleaning service. She's like, yeah, I need you to come out there. You come out there, you snake that sink for her, you get it done. You make a great impression of yourself. You clean up the job. Her sink's draining properly. So what you hit them with? You got any other slow drains in your house? You got any other fixtures you need me to take a look at while I'm here? Boom. That's all money in the bank right there. You're already at her house. You're already set up. I guarantee you there's going to be another issue in that house that they're going to have you solve. So as long as you keep professional and you do your job right, they're going to have you build on that next one. And here's the greatest part about it too. You go to somebody's house and do their drain cleaning and you do a fantastic job. You get them done, set up, you make your money there. You know what they're going to do? They're going to tell their neighbor, and the neighbor's going to tell the next neighbor. And next thing you know, the whole block is going to hold, like, they're all going to know your name, and you're going to be hitting everybody on there. I mean, think about it. You got to just, that word of mouth is going to spread like crazy. Like when I first got started, that's how I built myself up, was just off of word of mouth, because there's not a lot of people doing it. So you do one good job, they're going to tell the neighbor. You do work for them, they're going to tell the next person. Your name gets around. Next thing you know, you're booked out 2 weeks at all times, just making straight money coming in. Is, oh my God, cashing those checks is amazing. And you don't need a lot of experience doing this either. I've been debating on doing it myself, but there's a lot of videos on there that will break down how you actually do the drain cleaning. Because obviously, if you've never done it, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But I'm telling you, after you do a couple of them, it becomes the most straightforward thing that you can do. And one thing I want to talk about with that too, though, is and here's the best part about it. You can move up. So you're going to start with residential. You're doing, Bob's house down the street, Susie's house around the corner. You're going to start with these small residential ones, right? Well, when you get all the equipment that you need, you build up, you get yourself a van, you can start hitting commercial properties. I guarantee where you live at, they got some apartment buildings, whether they're small ones, big ones, doesn't matter. There's going to be a multifamily apartment building somewhere around you that's going to be managed by either themselves or by another outside company. So you get to the point where you start calling these people. And this is where you get to be able to hire somebody on and have them do the drain cleaning for you. And you keep building that up and building that up. And next thing you know, you got a fleet of people working for you out here just doing drain cleaning. It's such a simple business model. There's like no materials that you need. It's all basic tools. Like all your money is just in the drain cleaning equipment. There's not a lot of overhead. It's super basic. So I was talking about, start with the small equipment. You're starting with a drill snake, something basic, something that's going to make you a lot of money off of your first investment off of that equipment. Everywhere is different. Make sure that you're charging. Like, I never advise people to overcharge. You don't want to be like the big companies is bending people over. You do not want that type of reputation. You want to be fair, right? But also at the same time, keep in mind, don't be the cheapest person. I used to do that myself. I used to think in my head like, I remember what we used to charge at the rooters. I could be way cheaper than that. I could beat them out. I could be the cheapest drain cleaner in town. Well, it's going to end up biting you in the butt. I can tell you that right now. I lost some serious money doing that, trying to be the cheapest person. But you have to be fair. And if you keep that goal in your mind of, I'm trying to grow this business, I'm trying to have people work for me, right? If you want to keep it simple and just keep it to yourself, that's fine, and charge accordingly. But you need to price that in, that your growth essentially, so that you can pay yourself and put some money on the side to keep building those other things up. There's metrics that you can use. Typically it's going to Google and finding out what the average cost of things are for like drain cleaning and things like that. Like in my area, on average, a kitchen sink cleaning is $400. Me personally, even with the growth, I don't have to charge $400. I can charge, the low threes, high twos, and make my money doing the foot in the door method off of that. If I offer a service that's a little bit cheaper, but to get in and get another one, that's a whole nother way to go about it. But find out what's fair in your area. Because like for what I charge out here, I told you guys I'm in the north. Where am I? No, I'm Midwest over here, actually, technically, which still doesn't make any sense to me, but neither here nor there. Cost of living up here is pretty cheap relative to places like California and out west. you're definitely going to be able to make a lot more money. Your cost of living is higher out there, but you can charge more. But the equipment cost itself is still the same. So you're gonna make a lot of that money back quicker. Yeah, you'll have some money spent up in the fuel, whatnot, that's more expensive, some of your overhead costs. But the great thing is, it don't matter whether, like, what snake you're buying, it's the same price here as it is all the way out there. The other, when you really grow, the next level for that is then doing sewers. So this is when you get yourself to the point you're going to be buying big sewer equipment. And like I said, I always advise going with Spartan. I'm going to post a link in my description for Spartan's main page. Build your tools based off of there. They are expensive, but it is by far the best brand of snaking equipment that's out there. I mean, I've got stuff that I've worked with that's lasted 30 years, and all you have to change is the cables on it. These things are, and they got the power, they got the nuts behind it. They're going to break some stuff up for you. So spend the money, get decent equipment. Don't be afraid to go out there and learn something new. It's going to be a bit intimidating at first, but I guarantee you, after you clean out a couple drains and you get those first couple checks, it just gets easier and easier and easier. And honestly, you're going to get to the point where you're bored of it and you're moving up to that next level. So as I said, charge a fair price, get the right equipment, and I guarantee you in under a year, if you do it properly, you can build yourself up to where you can then have a tech working for you and out there making you some additional money. This is a great way to get out of the rat race, do something different that a lot of other people aren't doing. And I'm going to tell y'all a story because I've preached in this video about buying good equipment, right? When I first started, I bought cheap-ass equipment. I bought like the Home Depot stuff, like one of their Cobra kitchen sink line cables, like little tiny holding machine. It was like $200-300. I'm like, oh, this is perfect to get started. If I had just spent a couple $100 more and got something better, I would have been way better off. So I spent $300 on this machine, right? And I would get calls for sinks and bathtubs and all this stuff. And this machine was the perfect size for it, but it had no drive behind it. I would take apart this fixture, throw the sink down there, hit the little pedal, and it would barely turn and barely break anything down. I had to walk away from so many jobs because of this stupid machine. Like, it ended up costing me money, and it made me look like an asshole on a lot of jobs. And it was not worth it whatsoever. I took that thing, I sold it, and I had to start over. I had to get something that was a little bit better. I had to build up some capital, get a little bit better machine. And once I invested into that, I was blowing through homes. Never look back. I will never, ever buy cheap equipment again. And I'll say this. When I talk about Home Depot and Lowe's and places like that, like, really check out reviews for some of these items. Rigid is cool. They make good stuff. Rigid makes a great drill snake for the starting one. I advise General, though, personally. But when it comes to the bigger equipment, when you're doing kitchen sinks and some of the larger drains, get better equipment. You're dealing with heavier stuff, and charge for it. You had to pay more to get better equipment. Charge adequately for it. And you explain to people too, like, hey, I'm clean, I got good equipment, I'm going to get the job done right, so this is the cost. And most of the time, they're not going to turn you away while you're already there. Get a name made for yourself is the easiest thing to do. Post on Facebook. Let everybody know what you're doing. Let everybody know you offer this service. Business cards, all that stuff. Super easy to do. Everything is streamlined. And figure out what you need to charge in your area. So like I said, this is like by far one of the easiest things to get started with. You don't even need to go to school for it. Like all the other plumbing stuff, like when you're doing water heaters and replacing sewers and, running water lines and all that stuff, that you need some schooling for. That takes a lot of serious knowledge. The drain cleaning, though, you do not need a lot of knowledge on it. You need to go out there and get started on it and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. It's an easy way to build something up. And even if you want to keep it simple, just do basic drain cleaning then. Make you a couple $100 extra a week, maybe even, an extra $1,000 a week. You hit one drain every day. Easy ass money. Think about, how would you feel if you had an extra $1,000 in your pocket at the end of every week? That's an extra 50 grand a year just from going through and cleaning drains. Like I said, everybody needs this service. Every single person out there needs this service. And if somebody's not willing to pay the price for your service, that's not the right type of customer for you. You know what I mean? Do not let people beat you up on your pricing. If they don't want to pay for it, it's not the right job. Keep it moving. Like me, when I first started this, I had to work in the hood. I had to go to some nasty places, work in some trifling ass restaurants. I did not enjoy that. So I made sure that I did my advertising in different areas. Like, I'm not going and working out on the ghetto ass east side anymore, doing these roach infested homes. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. Plus, I found I'm just too expensive for these people anyways. Like, you want $195 to clean my drain, but I know somebody to do it for $50. Please call them. I'm ready to get out of here. I don't need to sit in this house anymore. I got my shoe covers on, and I got roaches trying to crawl up my leg. You think I'm about to do this for $50? Goodbye. I will not see you again. Call somebody else. And it just is what it is. Charge that fair price. Do a good job. Keep it clean. You're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to build this up quick. I promise you. I appreciate you sticking through the video. Drop a like. Hit me with a comment. I want to know your thoughts. Like I said, check the description too. I'm going to be putting in things in there with like the Spartan equipment, some of the supply houses you can go to and call for buying some of the stuff like cables, drill snakes, all that good stuff. Catch you on the next one.